Hello everyone, this is Sheila. Welcome back to my channel. Today I will be trying a different kind of video. Some of you requested that I show my process from the very beginning of when I make an altered book. So that's what we're going to do now. So I chose the book The Bees. It's by Laline Paull. I will link the description down in the description box. It is not very big. I'm going to say it's probably 10 inches by maybe 7 inches. And it has approximately 90 pages. And what I'm going to do today is show you how I prepare the actual book, the actual structure of the book. So the first thing I do is I usually leave the first several pages in the book. And I do that for a few reasons, mostly because I want the title page to remain intact, the publication date, you know, these kinds of pages. So I do it not only for the information, but also just for the structure of the book. Now you can see I did this earlier in preparing for this. This is my marker that this is where I need to start cutting. Today I will be using this craft knife. And you can see already that I had a little accident with it previously. So please be very careful if you are using a craft knife. I accidentally grabbed the wrong end, and that was that. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure the spine is completely broken. In this case, I believe it is. It was a former library book. So I think it's, you know, had a lot of love in its lifetime. It's been handled a lot. So this one should be good to go. And then what I do is I take the knife and I try to get as close to the spine as possible. And I try only to cut one page, which is sometimes tricky. Don't worry if that happens to you and you cut more than one page. It's okay. In the end, it won't matter. Okay, so don't get all OCD on me about that. Go ahead and cut one page. Perfect example, I accidentally cut 2 out, but that's okay. And then I set them aside because I'm going to use them in the next project. And then I'll skip a page, and then I'll cut the next one. Or the next 2, as it were. And then I'll just keep doing that throughout the book. Now you will see what happened here. To make sure that I'm in shot. You'll see that in addition to removing 3 pages instead of just 1, there is a little bit of the left over paper where it didn't quite rip fully. So what I do is I just take a regular old pair of tweezers and I'll just grab the paper and tear the little bits off if they're bothering me. Sometimes they bother me, sometimes they don't. It's really personal preference. And like I said, in the end, by the time you prepare all the pages and you've done your backgrounds and you've done your decorating, no one's going to notice these little pieces in the middle. And if they really bother you, there's always an opportunity to, you know, take another page out, or you could put some tape down the middle, like regular old Scotch tape. Or if you have masking tape, or if you have the washi tape, which comes in all these different beautiful patterns. So basically, I would remove every other page all the way up to towards the end of the book. And I've already marked the spot where I wanted to stop cutting. Leaving again, you know, 8 or, in this case, I think I left around 6 or 8 pages at the end. So that's the first step. The second step that I would typically take when preparing a book is once I've removed half of the pages or thereabouts, I will open the book. Sometimes I do it on every page, sometimes I don't. It just depends what kind of mood I am in, basically. If I'm extra frustrated that day about whatever, I will use a sanding block on every page, you know, or I'll do it a lot. Other days, if I'm feeling pretty laid back or whatever, yeah, here and there, whatever your personal preference is. By the way, this is just a regular old sanding block. This one happens to be by Black & Decker. I always have one or two of these floating around in my art stash in the tool area. Super helpful. I think I just got it at like a Dollar Tree or maybe, I don't know, a local hardware store or something. It was cheap. I think it was 50 cents or a buck. If I'm not mistaken, all the sides on this have a different grit of sandpaper. I'm not really sure about that. I'm no expert in these, but it does the job. So as I said, depending what mood I'm in, I'll just go through the book, you know, and maybe just scratch it a little bit. And I'm going to tell you the reason for that as we go. One of the reasons that we scratch them a little bit is to make sure that whatever glue or paint or other mixed media that we might be putting on the pages will actually have something to grab onto. You don't have to do this, but I personally like to do it because, number one, I'm creating that texture that will help things stick to it, right? But I am also getting a feel for the paper itself when I touch it with my fingers, because that is going to inform my next step. So basically, I would just keep going throughout the book. Now, I have on occasion experimented with just rubbing one page so roughly. Oh, look, it ripped. Okay, but then I'm like, you know what? That rip, that's kind of cool. How it kind of distorted this area in terms of the shape. So then what I'll just tear that page right out, right? You know, just really wad it up. Really get that frustration out from the day. And then what do I do with this? Oh, there's lots of things I could do with this. One thing I could do would be to just glue it back onto the page where it was next to. Or I could decide, you know what? This is going to go in my next book that I'm going to make about bees, right? Or I could literally just staple it across the top. And then when the person receives the book, there's a flip where maybe I hide something behind the curtain. You get the idea. All right. So I've removed half the pages and I have roughed up the pages. And my next step is sometimes I will come in with a regular old nail file and I will do the same thing that I did with this. Just a habit, but I find it works really well for me. Finally, usually what I do is I will take a paintbrush or I'll use my fingers, whatever I feel like doing that day, and I will put gesso on the pages. However, I am not a person that particularly likes gesso, and I struggle to use liquid-based things in my artwork. As close as I want to get to the glue is when it's in the bottle. For this particular book, I've decided not to use the gesso and just go by instinct, do the best I can. If a problem comes up, we'll fix it. The last thing that I wanted to show you today is this little dauber. And you can get them anywhere, any craft store. Sometimes I think Amazon or the Dollar Tree might have them. Amazon, of course, has them. They usually come with a little, well, there's a pad stuck to it. And it's Velcro on one side and just a sticker on the other. And then you buy these white pads separately. And then you just attach and then you use whatever color you want. So this happens to be my vintage photo distress ink here. Sometimes I will take this and I will dip it in my ink and I will go all around the pages that are remaining in the video, or not in the video, in the book. Or sometimes I might just take it and just go through the book itself and make marks. This one needs more ink for sure, but you get the idea. It just kind of gives it sort of a vintage, kind of an older kind of a feel. which I really enjoy. I really like that style. And so I'll go throughout the book. Now, you don't have to use brown or vintage photo or distress ink even. You could use yellow ink or whatever you like. Whatever color you like, you could use it. Gold, you could use metallic ink, anything you would like. So that's where I will go with this book. If you have any questions about what I've shared so far, go ahead and leave them in the comment section. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Please share with your friends. I'm excited to get this ready for our next video. Thank you. Bye now.